All right, I'm going to lean into the eerie mystery slow burn tension you've set up. Think quiet Shuruat, then something off, then that final chill. Here we go. Howling in the Wind. Episode 1, The Signal. The year is 3568. Mars, now called Earth 2, glows under a manufactured sky. Cities stretch across red plains, sealed under domes of glass and steel. Humanity survived, but only just. And far beyond it all, in a quiet observation tower orbiting the outer ring, George Hims listens. At first, it sounds like interference, a low, broken frequency crackling through the speakers. He adjusts the dial, eyes narrowing as the signal stabilizes. Static fades, then a sound cuts through, long, hollow, rising and falling like wind tearing through ruins. A howl. George freezes. It shouldn't be possible. Earth has been dead for over 1,000 years. He leans closer, increasing the gain. The sound repeats, but not exactly. There's a pattern buried inside it, almost like breath or voice. George quickly mutes the channel. Silence floods the room. For a moment, he just stands there, thinking. Then quietly, open quote, no one else heard that, close quote. Mission briefing, 099 Lig. A small group gathers in a sterile briefing room. The holographic image of Earth spins slowly in the center, gray, scarred, lifeless. George stands at the head, calm, controlled. 3 days ago, we intercepted a signal originating from Earth. A murmur ripples through the room. Julie leans forward, eyes wide. That's not possible. That's what we're here to confirm, George replies smoothly. Mandy doesn't speak. Her arms are folded tight, jaw tense. Her eyes never leave the image of Earth. Dan stands beside George, arms behind his back, silent, watching. Matt is already pulling up data on his wrist console, frowning. Signal's unstable, but it's definitely artificial, not natural interference. Jilly adjusts her glasses. If something is transmitting, then something is alive. That lands heavy. George lets it, which is why this mission is classified. We go, we investigate, and we return. No assumptions. Julie can't help it. Sir, if there are people down there. There aren't, George cuts in, just a fraction too quickly. A beat. Dan glances at him. George softens his tone. But we verify. Mandy finally speaks. Quiet, sharp. How long until we leave? George meets her gaze. Immediately. Departure. The ship Astra 9 detaches from the docking ring, engines humming to life. Mars shrinks behind them, glowing like a second sun. Inside, Julie presses her hand lightly to the observation glass, staring out into space. I can't believe I'm actually going, she whispers. Matt grins from his station. First trip to a dead planet. Not exactly a holiday, but hey, bucket list? She half laughs, but it doesn't quite stick. Across the cabin, Mandy sits alone, clutching a small worn photo. A boy, smiling. She closes her eyes as the engines roar louder. Deep space. 14 hours later. The signal returns. This time, it overrides the system. Speakers crackle to life without warning. That same sound fills the ship, but louder, clearer. The howl stretches through the corridors, echoing off metal walls. Julie flinches. What is that? Matt's fingers fly across the console. I didn't activate anything. This is coming through all channels. Jilly looks pale. It sounds closer. Dan turns to George. You said this was a weak signal. George doesn't answer. He's staring at the waveform on the screen. It's changed. What was once jagged and chaotic now shows rhythm, pattern, structure. Matt swallows. That's not random. The howl rises again. Then it breaks. Just for a second. And underneath it, a voice. Distorted, warped, barely human, but unmistakable. Open quote, home. Close quote. Silence slams back into the ship. No one moves. Julie's voice trembles. Did you hear that? Mandy is already on her feet. Her face has gone white. No? She whispers. Then louder. No, play it again. Matt hesitates. I don't know if I can. Play it again. George steps forward. Enough. The room stills. Mandy turns on him, eyes blazing. That was a voice. It was interference. You're lying. That hangs in the air. Dan shifts slightly, watching George very carefully now. George's expression hardens. We stay focused. We land. We assess. That's the mission. But the control he had before, it's slipping. Final scene. Earth fills the viewport. Dark, silent, broken. Clouds swirl unnaturally over scorched continents. Julie whispers almost to herself, it doesn't look dead. No one answers. As the ship begins descent, the signal returns one last time, soft, almost gentle. Not a howl now. Something else. Something closer to a whisper. Only one person hears it clearly. George. And what it says makes his blood run cold. Open quote, We remember you. Close quote. If you want next, we can. Go straight into episode 2, landing on Earth, decide exactly what the survivors are, or build that slow reveal of what George actually did. Where do you want to take it?